Hello, and good Friday morning to you. I hope everybody's doing well. I know that I really enjoyed sitting up last night for a couple hours and listening to the webinar and learning a bunch of new stuff and just getting pumped up. A lot of you know that I started making my name's Jeffrey, and I am going to be talking this morning about a post that I got that I'm actually going to respond to. So I started making videos a couple of months ago, I guess, and occasionally I get responses that allow me to really search myself, kind of check my own motives and check my status. Well, I got one such post concerning the what if video that I put out a day or two ago, and oddly enough, that was also based on a post. But anyway, the post that I got last night kind of warrants a little attention, so as to let people know exactly where I am coming from and where I am going. Now, true to life, there is information about OnPassive that's not available publicly, and even some is only available to founders in sort of a framework sense. Even more scarce than that is the information that, for those of us that believe in what we're doing, we only get that through faith. So the perceived lack of information that makes us think about what we think about also makes it easy for us to do the what if scenarios, right? And a lot of times those things end up in a negative context. Such is life for most of it, but so it was with this particular post last night. It sought to turn the question back on itself and asked, what if Jeffrey's wrong about OnPassive? So by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly and for certain where I stand and why. But first, let me back up a little bit. The point that I was trying to make clear in my last post was that those who wait for the launch are going to really miss the real opportunity within OnPassive, and that is, being the founder. But while I do agree there are those that use the fear of missing out method of recruiting as a tactic, that's not generally my style. Not when I can explain in detail, good detail, why waiting is a mistake for those people that want to obtain freedom and independence via, fast track, so to speak, because there is a real possibility of missing the best opportunity you'll have in your life, period. Okay? And this is what I said almost verbatim in the video. Okay? I'm actually going to quote something here. So, because the real opportunity is not in the launch, it's in becoming one of the two types of founders prior to launch, for one simple reason. Founders have the ability to have teams, and those teams get built by the company. The first type of founder, the type we're currently enrolling, is called the early bird founder. Early bird founders can recruit if they choose to. They don't have to, okay? They can choose to. They can choose to recruit and place founders in their teams if they want to, but they don't have to. Regardless, the company is going to undertake massive marketing campaigns prior to the launch that will start building our teams, okay? Those pre-launch campaigns are going to bring in more founders called secondary founders. So you see, the early bird founders have teams built for them with secondary founders, okay? But since secondary founders are founders nonetheless, they can also have teams. So guess what? The founders' teams have teams. And there it is. And that's the point that I was laboring to communicate in the last post. But that brings us to the new post, and the one thing in particular that got me thinking, and that was that it asked the question, what if I'm wrong? And to that question, I would simply say, so what? You know what? I'm not afraid to admit that I've made mistakes, quite often as a matter of fact. But you know what? I know in my knower that this is right as rain, and I'm part of something connected to life. If it all turns out to be one master scam, then I know that I am not hiding behind some fake entrepreneurial facade while egotistically trying to maintain a subjectively produced motive that denies a failing attempt at intelligence. And I'm sorry, I don't mean that to sound as harsh as it just came out, but I'm going to let it stand, okay? I have learned more about life and about people and about marketing in the last year and a half with OnPassive than I have in the last 10 previous years combined. I've already made a positive difference in people's lives on a scale larger than I thought possible through this. What I've already received from OnPassive is far more than any measly $97 I may have forked out as a cost of admission. The passion, the joy, the excitement, the belonging that I've received as a result of Mr. Mufara's vision is worth 100 times what I've paid for it. And to be able to put myself out there in vulnerability to the world and be received and accepted? Man alive, I sang a song for Pete's sake. So you see, even if I'm wrong about the core motive of OnPassive, which is absolutely ludicrous, I will never be wrong about my decision to join and become part of what is potentially the greatest online marketing endeavor ever to be integrated globally for the greater good of mankind. So I'm going to say it again. You don't know what I know, and you have no idea what OnPassive's already done. Nor do you know what has already been lined up and expected to happen and planned out in phases of development for years to come. So why don't you turn the joyful exercise of asking yourself, what if the founders are right? And just choose to follow your heart. Follow your own intuition. And doing that will change your life in ways you never thought possible. Thank you so much for listening to this. I certainly do appreciate it. And I wish blessings and blessings and blessings upon you and yours.